IRLBOSS, yeah, GR. I can't keep this up. We're flying first class up in the sky. Champagne, we don't need no guy. I mean, okay. What's up, everyone? This is episode 5 of Everything Else. Your favorite podcast, off the rails. Who knows what could happen? Anything is possible. Hi, how's it going? It's September. Who knew that could happen? Virgo season. Love it for me. The year's just flying by. I'm like so confused at how my birthday is just around the corner and how the end of the year is less than 4 months away. September, October, November. Yep, 4 months away. Very strange. Very, very odd. I can't even believe it's already Friday. Oop, spoiler alert. I'm filming this on Friday. Yikes. Lifted the curtain there for a second. I am not filming this the morning it is released. Happy Tuesday, listener. Wednesday, who knows? You could be listening to this in 2041. I have no idea. The power that holds. The terror that holds. Isn't it crazy that everything that you post online is permanent in a way? There's potential for it to be there. There's potential that human life somehow magically still exists in the year 3000. The Jonas Brothers predicted it. And they are looking at your old tweets from when you were 12. Absolutely spine chilling. I think about this a lot. I think about how we're going to have, we as in America, wow, very self-centered there, the royal we. An American who only thinks about themselves, an American who thinks America is the center of the universe, wow, pretends to be shocked. I think about how we, America, are going to have a president sometime in the very near future who was on fucking Tumblr. We're going to have a president who has TikTok dances still posted. That is a real possibility. That is very much going to be a thing. We're going to have people in power with social footprints, which is so obvious, but just so strange. Think about it. Imagine if I guess we'll use Biden. He's in office now. I don't know why I immediately went to Obama, but imagine like if you had Biden and, oh no, we're going to use Obama. I don't know why. Something about that makes more sense to me. Imagine if when Obama was in office, you could like find an archive of his old tweets from when he was 15. Or you could see videos of him dancing to popular songs when he was 12. Like that is so weird to me, but it is very much going to be a reality. It's strange. And then I start to think about, oh my God, if I ever have children, they're going to be able to see everything. They're going to be able to listen to this. Hi kids, go the fuck to sleep. They're going to be able to see me grow. I've been online for 11 years. They're going to be able to see 11 years plus of my life. Very strange. That spooks me out very frequently. That's like a fever dream. I'll like realize that and then I'll start hyperventilating during the day. Which is not a girl boss move. That is not a girl boss move. Today, that was a full-on tangent. Today, I wanted to try something different. The whole reason I created this podcast, Everything Else, was to talk about everything aside from me in a way. It was, to talk about everything else. Talk about the news, talk about pop culture, talk about what's currently going on outside of my own world. So I've always wanted to do a segment called Everybody Else, where I hyper curate that even more specifically to people's issues, people's problems, and I'll give an opinion or a take on their problem. So it's me focusing on everybody else. Everybody else, everything else, I don't know why. Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted this podcast to do. So I'm going to go on a famous forum, Reddit, and look at the advice section, and I'm going to give my opinions and advise as best as I can. Strangers on the internet on things that they need help on. And honestly, it's really juicy. I didn't even know this existed. I just Googled it one day and I was like, oh, this is cool. People have real interesting dilemmas they are faced with. So we're going to go through some of those. But before we do that, I just wanted to say the coolest thing that happened to me this week is that Apple, the computers, beep boop, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, named me one of the most anticipated books of fall 2021. And I found that just absolutely flattering and humbling. And it just made my week. It's all I've been focused on this whole week. So I thought that was really cool. You work really hard on something, and to have it at all recognized is just really exciting. So thank you, Apple. If you want to pre-order that book and join in on the hype, hopefully it lives up to it. Definitely go pre-order my new book. It comes out October 19th. And also, to anyone who does pre-order, I promise there's a point here. Keep listening. This is not all promo. We've created a sweepstakes for anyone who's pre-ordered in the United States. Sorry, there's rules with contest outside the United States, but for anyone who's pre-ordered, you can enter yourself on connorfrantabooks.com in the sweepstakes and be entered to win fabulous prizes just for pre-ordering. So, it's free outside of pre-ordering. You can win one-on-one FaceTimes. You can win framed photographs. You can win a masterclass in cooking, running, internet things, photography, whatever you want from me. So it's all fun. Go to connorfrantabooks.com. Place a pre-order. I really appreciate it. That's been my week. It's been very exciting. Having a great time over here. But yeah, honestly, I'm just really excited. Let's get right into it. Let's get some advice, some opinions rolling on everyone else. The first prompt is, was I too bold on a date today? I went to lunch with a guy today and I offered to pay, and he said no. No. He said that he was very happy to pay for it. I then said, well, I'll pay next time then. And now thinking back at it, was that statement a little bit too bold to say on a first date with this guy? Who knows if he wanted to go on another date or not? No. Do you know what's so interesting? It's more interesting, I think, in same-sex relationships because there are no gender rules. There are no, something's going on with the camera again. Is this happening again? No. Okay. There are no societal standards set for same-sex relationships. So like when I go on a date with a guy, I have no idea if we're going to split it. I have no idea if he's going to pay for it. I have no idea if I'm going to pay for it. There's no precedent set. There's nothing that has to be followed there. But traditionally, there's this whole thing around men always paying for women on dates. That's the precedent that's been set. That's the assumption going into it. And some men, not all men, some men, take great offense to a woman offering to pay in some reason. Like they feel, I think, emasculated by that, or they feel hurt by it in some way. So just the fact that you offered to pay, I'm sure was very weird to him in some way. But for you to say, I'll pay next time then, no, I do not think that's in any way bold at all. I think that imply to me, if someone said that to me, one, that would imply, oh, they want a next time. They had a good enough that they would want a next time. That's at least nice to know. We're kind of on a similar playing field here. There's nothing worse than leaving a date and being like, was that a good time? I had a good time. How do I know they had a good time? What if I'm a total psychopath and disgusting and I didn't even realize it and they hate me? How do I know? I guess time will tell. We wait and see. So you saying that weirdly implies that you had a good time and you would do another date. I think that's great to know. I would love to know that. And also, we live in fucking modern times, and I think it is totally acceptable for people to split everything. Do you know what's sexy to me? Splitting the bill. I don't want anyone to pay for it. I want to split it. I want to know this is like equal and fair. Yes, if someone does pay for something one time, I think it's very cute, but I am never assuming someone will pay for something all the time. I'd feel like there was a weird power dynamic there. I don't know. I honestly don't know how traditional heterosexual relationships do it. I would feel like there was a power dynamic of men always paying for women. So I like both of those. I think you did the right thing. I do not think it was too bold. I think you are overthinking it just a bit. And I wish you nothing but success in life and in your relationships. Love. My 15-year-old sister is best friends with a 29-year-old man. Should I be worried? This is the most upvoted prompt of the week. And honestly, I don't even need to read the description of this. I'll give you a quick summary. The quick summary is an older sister found out that her younger sister is talking frequently with a 29-year-old man. And I am going to tell you flat out, that is inappropriate. I don't care what the circumstances are. If this man is a stranger, if this man is not directly related to you, that's creepy. That's weird. 29-year-old men and 15-year-old girls do not have a lot in common. So I don't know what they could possibly be frequently texting about. And there's something that feels deeply intimate about that. So I don't even know if there's any intention there, but it's weird. I think that's weird. I think it's inappropriate. I don't really care the circumstances. I think you did mention in here something about, though, that you were getting potential grooming vibes, or you were saying, let's see here, he had a crush on me when I was 15 and pursued me till I was 18. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, definitely stop that right now. Even if that wasn't the case, again, that's weird. It's a 15-year-old girl and a 29-year-old man. That's weird. Stop it right now. Don't overthink this one either. You don't even have to tell your sister that you invaded her privacy. Be like, yeah, hey, listen, don't talk to old men. Just don't do it. There's nothing further to explain here. Get her away from him before a problem arises. Done. Simple. Stop it. Is it gay for a man to paint his nails? I'm masculine and straight. I really want to paint my nails as I think it is a cool form of expression, but I don't want to deal with people trying to invalidate my masculinity. My family is super old school and traditional, and while my parents wouldn't care, the fight with my uncles or grandparents would be entirely unavoidable. Great question. There's actually quite a bit of nuance to this because it's so interesting. As growing up, it wasn't, I guess growing up for me, the only men that really painted their nails were people who were more like traditionally emo. They would paint their nails black, but not a lot of people painted their nails. And it's really interesting with TikTok, specifically TikTok trends and YouTube trends. A lot of younger men, a lot of men in general are painting their nails because it's become like a fashion trend. So it's no longer something that just, I guess, stereotypically women or feminine people do anymore. A lot of people in the queer community paint their nails. They've been doing it for a long time. So it is interesting that is something that I would have deeply been insecure about doing as a younger person, especially someone in the closet. But it's also something that could add a layer of fear, because if you were to do that now, or if you were to do that back then, paint your nails growing up, you genuinely could get harassed or hurt for doing that. Someone could just assume you're feminine or gay or whatnot and hurt you for it. So it's crazy to see the progression since then, because that's something that doesn't seem like it's happening as much now. So to me, one, I would like to remind this person and every person listening that painting your nails is neither masculine or feminine. It is paint on nails. Colors do not have a gender. Materials on your body do not have any association with gender identity. None of that exists. It's all made up. It's all fiction. It's all a societal norm, a societal standard set before us. It doesn't exist. Pink is not a girl color. Blue is not a boy color. Pants are not only for men. Dresses are not only for women. That is something that we have made up. It's fictional. So it is not gay for straight men to put on makeup or to wear nail polish or any, colorful clothing. None of that is gay. That doesn't make any sense. It's not. It's definitely a thing some people think. They associate it with femininity, which femininity is associated with gay men, which also isn't true. Just because you're gay does not automatically mean you're feminine. All of that is all just stereotypes associated with so many. Yeah, there's so many layers to this. But no, the short answer is no, it is not gay. And honestly, I think low key that it is really commendable, and I think I genuinely think it's a little bit brave for people to be walking around with their nails painted, because again, that not in recent history people were harmed for doing such. So I think it is nothing but, if I saw a straight man having his nails painted, I'd be like, good on you, good for you. That's great that's how you express yourself, and that this is something that you like doing and that you are now comfortable with doing in public. But I definitely validate your the stress you have around having to explain that to someone who is like a traditional family member. But I'm just going to say, if you only live once, fuck what other people think. If you want to do it, just do it. And frankly, explain it to them that way. But also, if you need to, just make them feel stupid for thinking so far into this. It's really not that deep. It's just paint on your nails. I remember the first time I painted my nails. I remember feeling both liberated but terrified about it. It was something like I was so conscious of it everywhere I went that my fingers were painted. And I was conscious, like when I was paying for something, that I would give the money to the cashier, and let's say hypothetically it was like a 40-year-old man, that he obviously would see the nails, and I'm like, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? Is he going to make a comment about it? Is he going to give me a weird look? I remember being so self-conscious and in my own head about it that I couldn't tell if it was worth it to wear the nail paint, even though I liked it, because of how much stress the hypothetical situations caused me, which is so sad. And I remember even wearing it going home for the first time and being like, ooh, is like my family going to comment on this? Are they gonna, are they gonna whisper behind my back about it? Are they gonna make some strange assumptions about it? I don't know. Like, you get really in your head about things like that. So definitely, again, like, power to people who are brave and bold enough to just do it. Because as soon as it becomes normalized, that's why I'm really happy that it's become a trend on TikTok for anyone who, is male to wear nail polish. Because I'm like, great, just normalize that. Normalize it and don't make it associated with just femininity. It's just expression. Genderless expression. Why do I look better looking in the mirror than I do in photos? I look at myself in photos and feel ugly and really insecure. Yet when I look at myself in the mirror, I somehow look better to myself, which is a more accurate representation of what I actually look like to others. The reason I found this comment so interesting is because I have an interesting relationship with my own self-image, having, edited videos of myself, having recorded myself, having my job being to literally always look at myself in a screen. You become so self-aware of, your quote unquote flaws or things that you don't like about your features, your appearance on a day-to-day basis. And that's just something that is very new. It's a new normal. When you think about just, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that wasn't a thing. People weren't carrying around phones and constantly looking back at themselves. They weren't checking their makeup, their hair, their clothes, everything. They weren't like even having 10 photos taken of them and looking through them of which one is the best. A lot, like, before digital cameras, people were just taking one family photo on film and being like, I hope it was good. So there was a lot of less focus on appearance. So it's really interesting. And so there's a lot of nuance to it. And me having been being photographed and being a photographer, I feel like I have an interesting POV. I've learned what my angles are. I've learned what I don't like about myself in photos and how I can fix it, or certain lightings change everything. There are some really deeply interesting videos on the internet that tell you like different focal lengths of cameras. So a lot of cameras are 35 millimeter or 50 millimeter or 180 millimeter, and the difference is, just think like really flat lens, really long lens. Lens that like you turn it on and it looks just like the room looks just like your eye sees in the camera, or lens that you turn it on and you can see the bird across the street. That completely changes people's features and people's faces. So my point here is that a camera doesn't actually tell you what someone really looks like. It completely depends upon like certain lighting scenarios. Depending upon the focal length, it can completely change your face. And so don't put too much weight on what you look like in photos, because genuinely, again, some people photograph so different from what they actually look like. Or some people, like I photographed models that in real life, I'm like, oh, you're just like a normal, cool looking person. And then on film, I take one photo and I'm like, bitch, how you do that? What the fuck? Like one photo, I'm like, we're done. We don't need anything else. Stunning. God. Chiseled from above. Like, it's amazing. Some people just have that. They have the perfect features that no matter the lighting, no matter the angle, they just always look good. But then you look at them in real life and you're like, oh, it's not like you're some singularly societally perfect looking person. It's just, you just have the features that the camera captures really well. So don't be too hard on yourself if you don't like how you look in photos. There could be so many different reasons of why you don't think you look like you actually look in the photo. And also just don't put a lot of pressure on it. What I've learned too over the years is that people aren't judging you as much as you think they are. Frankly, and this can feel a little bit sad, but like people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are either. We're really self-centered and thinking, oh my God, I think Sarah's judging me because, I don't know, my outfit doesn't look as good today. She's really not. Sarah's worried about her outfit. Or, oh my God, Ben's gonna think I look ugly in that photo. Ben's not looking at you in the photo. Ben's looking at himself, sweetie. We're all thinking the same thing. We're all insecure about how we look all the time because we now have cell phones to look into all the time and make us feel insecure about how we look all the time. Don't put a lot of weight on it. It's totally fine. I definitely empathize with you. So yeah. I'm 16 and I've been dating this girl for 3 years, and this whole relationship has been mentally draining for me. I can't even skate with my friends without her tripping. Oh no, this sounds like a 16-year-old. The thing is, I feel I'm already too deep into the relationship to stop, and I feel pressured by her family. I have so many problems and I feel the weight on my shoulders. Help. You're 16. Like I don't, love is definitely love, and you can definitely be in love at 16, but you need to realize you're so young. Like the chances of that being your end all be all relationship at 16 are so slim as it is. So if you're feeling pressured at any stage in life, if you're feeling not into the relationship, it's not a bad thing for the relationship to end. We put so much pressure on keeping things going, or love fizzling out being a failure. And that's just, sadly, it's just natural. It's really natural. You're going to fall out of love more often than you fall in, more often than you, no, that's not what I want to say. That doesn't make any sense. The chances of you falling out of love are really high, and the chances of you staying in love with the same person forever are really small. And that's why that's why it takes a long time to find someone that you want to do that with. So you being 16 and falling out of love with a girl or not wanting to be in a relationship with her is totally fine. And I get that you feel pressure, but if you're not feeling it, cut it off. That's totally acceptable here. You're 16. It's okay. It really is okay. And even if you were 18, even if you were 21, even if you were 31 and you felt this way, it's okay to end a relationship if you're not into it. Frankly, I think a lot of people stay in relationships longer than they should out of courtesy of the other person, when in reality, you not being into someone and staying in it just for them is going to cause way more harm and way more hurt to that person down the line, because inevitably it's going to have to end. You're just kind of putting it off. I don't think once you've decided that you aren't invested in this relationship anymore, it's pretty hard to reinvest yourself within it. So it's not a fun situation, but break up with your girlfriend. Yeah. 'Cause you want to skate with your friends. Break up with your girlfriend. Yeah. 'Cause you want to skate with your friends. And she be tripping. Isn't that funny? I remember breaking off my first relationship in high school. Granted, it was with a girl and I was deeply in the closet and extremely gay. But I still remember how devastating it felt. It felt like this could never end. This is like, we found each other. This, no one ever talks about breakups. They only talk about falling in love. Oh, God, imagine. Also, you change so much since from high school to your 20s, to your 30s and beyond, that it's crazy to even, like, I don't even know what half those people are doing that I was in quick little flings with in high school. I'm like, are we even close to similar now? I was such a shy little semi-emo kid, such a nerd too in high school, that I'm like, how could you possibly have been in love with me? I didn't even know who I was. How could you know me? I didn't know me. Okay, I saw a few talking about leaving a job or starting over, or like starting a new path. So here's one that was really highly discussed this week, and we'll talk about all that through it. This one says 50 and starting from scratch. I'm a 50-year-old male this year. I married into money and have been a stay-at-home dad since I was 25. My wife initiated the divorce. I signed a prenup, so going out with less than 100K. No friends at all, literally zero. No workplace experience, no higher education, no network, no family. I need advice specifically. Does anyone have any ideas for starting a life over again at age 50 with nothing, et cetera, et cetera? I'm just looking for suggestions and advice regarding my future. One, and this is going to be so eye roll worthy for people in a situation like this. You don't have to be 50. You don't have to be going through a divorce. But like for people who find themselves reaching a point where they're going to, divert from a path or start over completely, it is so easy to look at that as, this is the end. This is bleak. This is so horrible that I'm put in this situation. But you could, again, I know, God, this is so cringeworthy. I'm so sorry. But you could look at it as an opportunity. You could look at it as, wow, I'm suddenly going to get to have a brand new life I didn't expect. So when I'm thinking of this person, a lot of the bullet points aside, because, that is particularly unique and particularly difficult, but 50, regardless what you think, is still very young. You still have a lot of life left to live, and who knows what could happen in your remaining years. You could move to another country. You could find a passion that you never had before. You can meet another person that you love and have an entirely different life. All that is very possible if you go into it with that mindset, if you go into it with that curiosity. But I think first and foremost, if you have a lot of social anxiety and you're dealing with severe depression, you definitely need to, figure out how to cope with that before really, attacking your life and meeting it head on. That is something that I've realized. You can't distract yourself from your mental health. It's always going to be there until it's addressed, until you figure out how to deal with it, how to cope with it, how to conquer it, whatever it may be. You need to, I think that would be step one on your list. And then, really do during that, which I'm assuming you're probably going to have to go to therapy for that, really do some soul searching. What do you like to do? What brings you joy? You definitely have to have passions. You're 50 years old. You have to have something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy doing, whether it's sports, woodworking, gardening. I don't know. There's got to be something there. And then start developing that as a hobby, as a job, perhaps. There's absolutely no shame in starting over. There's absolutely no shame in forging a new path. I think it's totally commendable. I think that there are plenty of opportunities where we can just kind of move forward in life and accept the cards we've been dealt or the situation that we're in. But I think it takes true bravery for someone to realize that they're in a situation that they don't want to be in anymore and to change it. And it's probably one of the hardest things anyone can go through in life because it is really risky. But I also think, what else is there? You're just going to keep going on and hope that something changes, or you're just going to keep going on until you don't have to anymore. It sounds so bleak and so sad to keep going in a direction that is there's no fruit at the end of the tunnel. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no fruit on the trees in the orchard ahead. I guess that's more what I was going for. Weird metaphor. But I think, but it's not easy. That is not at all making it sound like just quit your life and do something new. Ha ha ha. No, it's really difficult. So you really try to think of this as an opportunity. Try to think of this as something that can be bright and not dark for anybody. There were a few other ones on this forum that I saw. It was just I've been in this job for 5 years. I absolutely hate it. What do I do? I mean, I hate to say it, but while you're still working there, so while you still have an income and while you still feel stable, figure out an exit plan. Immediately figure out. Don't just go out and quit and hope that things will just fall into place. Definitely have a strategy, have a plan. Try applying for other jobs while you're still at that job. Figure it out, but don't stay in a situation that is not right for you just because you feel like you have to, because it's something you've done forever. You're absolutely not obligated to do that. There's no dent in your pride for leaving something that you've invested time into. It's all fictional. That's all fictional. There's no reward at the end of your life that says, you never quit that job and you were there for 30 years. Good job for you. Here's a sticker. Boop. A little star for Timmy. Boop. You really stuck that one out. It was absolutely fucking horrible, and no one should ever be in that situation, but we're proud of you for staying. So excited for you. Now die. No. At the end of all of this, there is no tally. There is no reward. There is no anything. So take advantage of today and don't dwell on yesterday because of it. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but yeah, sending you major empathy, 50-year-old male, of which I do not know your name. I wish I knew your name. I want to personally, I want this to be more personal, but that's not what we signed up for. That's not. Is there a lighter one? All these were very, very, or at least that last one was very, very sad. But I suppose that's kind of the nature of internet advice, is people kind of leaning into their deepest, darkest thoughts and then putting them on the internet anonymously. It's an anemone. Anonymously. This one says, how do I deal with sudden cringy flashbacks? Girl, same. Have them all the time. Are you ever just sitting There'll be time, like, actually out of the blue, I'll just be sitting on the couch and I'll remember something from age 8. Be like, 3rd grade, Mrs. Jefferson's class. I was seated in the 3rd row and Sarah caught me picking my nose. Like, just pain. It's, oh gosh, I have them frequently too. You know, it's a way of life. Cringe is just, it's within our DNA. It is a part of the human experience. I honestly, anytime anything is super duper embarrassing, I just laugh at myself. The only reason something is embarrassing is because you allow it to be. Just outwardly call it out. Like, anytime my voice cracks, I just call it out. Anytime I say something utterly stupid, which is very frequent, I just say, oop, that was stupid, and then move on. Yeah, because there's nothing, you're not going to gain anything from dwelling on those. But yeah, they happen to everyone. You'll be fine. It's totally cool. Okay, that's pretty much it. That was great. I actually had a lot of fun with that. Did you guys like that? Definitely let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want more segments like this, a little everyone else. Maybe I could do one with our listeners. I could find a way for people to anonymously, so hard to say, submit their little secrets. But this was very fun. Thank you so much for listening. Episode 5. In terms of everything else, the segment, everyone's favorite segment, I definitely want to give you a little comment of the week, a music suggestion, a movie suggestion. So let's get right into that. First and foremost, I do want to thank everyone for rating and reviewing this podcast on all platforms, specifically Apple. We're a 5-star podcast, y'all. Not to toot our horn, but we are untouchable, unstoppable. Definitely go leave a 5-star review with a little written review. In terms of music this week, James Blake is putting out angelic anthems. Life is Not the Same by James Blake. Great. Love the album artwork as well. James never misses. Highly recommend listening to all of James' new work. I saw a movie this week. Very rare occasion. I saw Candyman, which is a horror film. It's actually a remake of a classic horror film that I haven't seen. This one is by Nia DaCosta, who is a female Black director. And I only mention that because she was the first Black woman director to debut a film at the tippity top of the box office. The first. So congrats to her. And also, shocking that is happening in the year 2021. We need more female representation in the media. We need more diverse storytelling opportunities for minority communities, because this film was wonderful. It was very spooky ooky. Definitely got quite creeped out a few times, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, the storytelling, a lot of horror films just kind of fall to these, just, I guess, like kind of cookie cutter ways of scaring you, and this one had a lot of unique ways to freak you out. The whole thing is you say Candyman 5 times and then he appears in the room, kind of like Boogeyman-esque. And they did a lot of really interesting things with mirrors. You rarely see him in person. You always see him in like little glimpses in mirrors. It's a fantastic movie. Definitely go support it. Well done. Really enjoyed it. In terms of comment of the week, I think we only have time for my favorite review of the week. The review of the week on Apple was, "This podcast relieves my dairy allergy." This podcast relieves my dairy allergy. Wow, we are a medical miracle here, folks. This is incredible. The power this podcast holds to not only clear my sinuses from seasonal allergies, but also to inform me about important social issues, and also less important social issues, is fantastic. A gradient of topics here, folks. The joy I get from periodically hearing Nicki Minaj sound alerts blast through my AirPods when Connor makes a point makes me want to read books again. I can't explain. I am only one person with a limited vocabulary to express my joy and fulfillment. And to that, I say,
You know what inspires me? Fearlessness, drive. I hate lazy people. Barb, stay in school. Don't you ever be lazy. Don't you ever complain about hard work. Work hard, it pays off.
A fucking man. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. That was lovely. What a lovely review. Leave yours. I'm going to keep telling you till you leave one. Thank you so much for listening. I had a great time this week. If you're in California, make sure to vote now. If you're anywhere in the world and you have access to a vaccine, definitely get vaccinated. Get a full night's sleep, that delicious, delicious rest. Have a glass of chilled water. And I hope you have a lovely time, lovely life. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.